We're holding in the middle of chapter Chavches, chapter 28, and we were discussing that a person that gets upset and he feels that, look, things are not going my way, right? I'm sitting here, I'm learning Torah, I'm davening, and what's happening? I'm having all these machshavas zaras, I'm having all these bad thoughts come into my mind. It must mean that I am certainly not accomplishing anything. That's the Yetzer Hara coming to speak to him, to get him depressed. Because remember, the end goal of the Yetzer Hara is get this guy depressed. Get him to a point where he wants to say, I give up. If he could do that, then he's won the game. He's won the war. Right? That is the goal of the Yetzer Hara. So what happens? So now he's saying to him, look at you. You're sitting, you're davening, and your mind is totally elsewhere. Your mind is thinking about all different types of crazy things. A proof that you are not succeeding in life. You're doing terribly. Right? So the guy starts to feel very bad. You know, you're right. Maybe I am doing terribly. What am I even bothering for? So what happens? So the Alter Rebbe comes along and says, wrong. It's not that you don't have negative thoughts popping into your mind. You do. But the assessment, the analysis is totally off. You're misreading the whole thing. And the example that we gave last time was two sumo wrestlers. Right? That they start off, they go with their legs up, back and forth, and then finally they go, boom, hit each other. And if they don't win at the right away, so then they sort of lean on each other. And they're just waiting for that moment. And as soon as one guy goes and tries to push, then the other guy comes and tries to push. And he starts to put all of his energy in. So you have both of them trying to put all their energy in. So what the Alter Rebbe is saying here is the fact that I am having these bad thoughts come into my mind must mean that I'm doing something right. Not wrong, right. Because like the sumo wrestler, when he was just sitting there and just waiting and not putting any energy in, neither was the other guy. Right? So the fact that I'm having all these negative thoughts pop into my mind must mean that I'm actually accomplishing something. So instead of using it as a way of getting depressed and getting upset and feeling bad, change the perspective. The perspective has to be, I'm actually doing something right. Okay, I don't want to have machshavas zaras either, don't get me wrong. But it's a siman to me that I now have to concentrate more and I have to have more happiness and try to win over my Yetzer Hara. So then where we left off last time was that the answer to the question of maybe I am doing something wrong, right? That only would work, and that would be true if we only had one soul. If we only had one soul, then it's true. Like the bottom line is I'm having all these bad thoughts come into my mind. And if I only have one soul, that must be that's what my soul is doing. But that's not the facts. We already learned from the beginning of Tanya that I have two souls. So let's go back to what the Alter Rebbe is teaching us. Take a look. We're on page 70, and we'll start from the second line, the last word in the second line. It says like this: Aval be'emes la'miso, but in real truth, hein shtei nefashos. There are two souls, hanilchamos zu im zu, which are fighting one with the other. B'moicho shel adam, in the brain of the person. Kol achatz, each one of the souls, cheptza v'retzaino limshol bo, each one of them, their cheptza, their inner desire, their inner will of each soul, their retzaino, their drive, is to control. B'lios hamayach mamula mimenu levado, and that the brain of the person should be completely filled with it. So the Nefesh Bahamias has a anthem, and its point of view is, I want to be in complete control of the brain. Nefesh Elokis turns around and says, no, I want to be in complete control of the brain. And that's what's going on inside of me. And each side is trying their best to gain control. Like, remember the wrestlers, they're trying to just get a little bit more of an angle, push them this way, push them that way. That's what's going on. V'kol hirhure Torah v'yira shamayim min nefesh. I'm sorry, right? V'kol hirhure Torah v'yira shamayim. So all thoughts of Torah and yira shamayim min nefesh elokis. That's coming from the nefesh elokis. V'kol mili da'alma, and all things of this world min nefesh bahamis. It's coming from the nefesh bahamis. Rak sheha elokis melubeshes ba. However, the nefesh elokis is enclosed within it. In other words, what's happening? What's happening is that at the end of the day, the nefesh elokis, right, is enclosed within the nefesh bahamis. So the nefesh bahamis is driving it this way, driving it that way. The nefesh elokis is trying to say, no, we have to go straight. We're not going this way. We're not going that way. Straight. And they go, no, we're going this way. We're going that way. No, straight. And this is the war that's going on in each one of us. Right now, in this part of Tanya, we're talking about what happens in the middle of davening or in the middle of learning. But really, it's happening all day long. And like the great mashpia, right, Rabbi Shlomo Chaim Kesselman from Eretz Yisrael used to say, it's like someone's coming to your house, and someone knocks on the door, and you have to say, who's there? It's the first thing anyone says, right? We all learned when we were kids, right? If someone knocks on the door, mommy tells you, you have to say, who's there? Right? And they answer, oh, it's the postman, it's UPS, I don't know. Same thing inside of my brain. I'm getting ideas thrown into my head. Give up. This is terrible. I can't do this. Right? It's a waste of time. Why bother? That's all the nefesh bahami is. The goal of the nefesh bahami is get this guy down. If I can get him down, I win. That's what the nefesh bahami wants more than anything else. Nefesh elokis is saying, no, I could do this. I could win. I'm capable. I'm going to win. Right? And all the words of Torah that I've learned, right? I'm learning and learning. Come on, we're going to push forward. V'hu kamashal adam hamispal b'kavana. It's like a person who is trying to daven with kavana, v'oymid lenegdo, and standing next to him, oyde gilulim rasha, and a person who is just an idol worshiper, who is an evil person, is standing in front of him. Umesiach medaber imo, and he's speaking to him, talking to him. Kedei lebalbalo. Why is he talking to him? For one exact purpose, just to mess with his mind. That's what he wants to do. He's trying to mess with him, bother him, mess with him, get him all riled up, whatever. Shezos eitzoiso bevadai shelo lahashiv lo mitoiv adra. So how do I deal with this? How am I supposed to win? I now know what's going on in my brain. I now know that this is what's going on every single day of my life. So what am I supposed to do? So the Alter Rebbe gives us a piece of advice. He says, the first step is, if someone's taunting you, the last thing you should do is get involved in an exchange with him. That's not what you should do. Don't even pay attention. Don't answer him, not this way, not that way. Make yourself like you're a deaf person. You don't hear it. Ignore the person. Ignore him. Lo yishma v'lo kayim mashikasu al ta'an ksil ba'olas ba'olas open teshavet v'lo gam atakach. Right? Al yashiv ma'uma v'shum taina v'mayna neged ha'machshava zara. So he says, be like a deaf person. Ignore him completely. Don't be like a fool. When a fool talks to you and you get involved in the foolish talk, you try to answer him back, and you try to, oh, you said this, oh, you did this, oh, you said and then all of a sudden you get, oh, no, you did the one, you were the one that did this, it's like, it's children that fight, right? That they're like, oh, you called me a nincompoop, no, you called me that, it's like nonsense, it's foolishness. You have to stand your ground. Take a deep breath, steady as she goes, and allow this thing to, let them speak, let anyone say what they want, doesn't matter. You're moving forward. Just move forward. Keep trucking. That's the idea here. Keep trucking. Don't be the fool. If you answer the fool, then you become the fool. If you get involved in the conversation, you're lowering yourself down to their level. That's what's going on. And that's what he says here. Shelo lahashiv lo mitoiv ra. Don't answer him at all. Make himself, like I said before, like a cherish, like a deaf person. Lo yishma v'lekayim mashe, right? Like you can't hear it. V'lekayim mashe kasu. And fulfill what it says. Altan ksil. Don't answer a fool in his foolishness, in his nonsense. Unless you become equal to him. And similarly with you. And if the Yetzer Hara starts saying, you're an idiot, you're a bozo, you can't do anything, just give up, why bother, why do you get involved, don't answer him back. Oh, you're the one that says, none of that. Don't answer the Machshava Zara back. Because someone who basically is hugging someone that's dirty or getting close to someone that's dirty, he will become dirty too. Make yourself like you don't know, you don't hear. All these thoughts that are popping into your mind. And just let them go away. Take your mind away from it. Just don't even get involved. So instead, what do you do if someone's trying to bother you? You just go deeper into yourself, go deeper into whatever it is that you're doing. Work harder, focus more. It's a raya that you're accomplishing something. Go get stronger. That's the idea. So now the Alter Rebbe says, this is a very nice piece of advice, but who says that I can do this? This is hard. It's very hard to ignore someone if someone's really in your face and really bothering you and really annoying you. And the Machshava Zara, the bad thoughts, are really in my face. So I'm asking Alter Rebbe now, what do I do? I'm finding this very hard. I can't do it. I have all these negative thoughts bouncing around my head. What am I supposed to do? So he says, and if it's hard for you to take it out of your mind, right? Because your mind is so it's just so involved and so busy and so difficult. So then, last resort, if you can't do it, just pour out your soul to God. And beg Him. So in your thoughts, lerachem alav, to have compassion on me. Berachamav hamerubim, with His tremendous compassion, kerachem aval banim, like a compassion of a father on his children. Hanimshachim emaycho, because the children come from His brain. Bekacha yirachem Hashem al nafsho, and Hashem will for sure have compassion on my soul. Beg Hashem, I can't deal with this, I can't do this. Please Hashem, help me, have compassion for me. I'm your child, right? It's too much for me. I need help. And just call out to Hashem, right? In order to save me from these troubled waters. And when a person realizes that he is a portion of Hashem, and he's calling out to Hashem and saying, have compassion on me, help me out here, take me away from this situation, save me from this nefesh of bahamias. So the Alter Rebbe says, for sure then, He will turn around and save you, because at the end of the day, we are a portion of Him. We're a portion of Hashem. Like it says, Ki chelik Hashem mamish, right? Because we're like a chelik of Hashem Himself. So since we're like a chelik of Hashem Himself, then for sure Hashem will save us from any problems. So that's the answer. And that marks the end of this whole section.